at first sight. So, due to my neighbor's landscaping, it's a little bit noisy outside. So, I'm coming to you from my upstairs staircase. So, let's get into it. Oh my God, did you guys see that episode last night? Oof, okay. We all know what happened with Ben and Morgan, so I'm going to save them for last. All right, so first we're going to start off. The first couple I want to talk about is Mitch and Kristen. So, all right, let me get comfortable here, guys, because this is not my usual location. This is my little rocking chair I got when my baby was a baby. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me okay. If you can't, just let me know in the chat. All right, so first let's talk about Mitch and Kristen. So Kristen was, well, all right. On this episode, we saw Kristen kind of go into, she's been very, she's been coddling him, but she's been speaking up for herself a little bit more lately. And I have to say that maybe I need to kind of reevaluate my assessment of her because I thought like she's just a doormat, but maybe she has learned something in these past relationships where she's been taken for granted and maybe she's like finally said, hey, enough is enough. So she's been sticking up for herself more. And it seems like the more that she sticks up for herself, the more Mitch likes it. Because, he said, I need someone that is going to basically kind of get me together and put me in my place. And she has been doing that. But this time when they sat down and they had that conversation with the other couples, and she's saying that, what, I feel like I'm about to snap. I feel like I'm losing myself. I feel like I am just kowtowing to everything he needs, and he's not like trying to do anything that I want to do. She confided in her friend about her life's goals and things like that with the flipping houses and his response to that, and how she feels like, he's kind of like saying without saying, you need to change your life's goals because, you're just going to be a greedy landowner, kind of thing. So, but she definitely, the way that she kind of took control of that, and it's just interesting because I always feel like, I felt like Mitch, I was always on the fence about him, like I'm not really sure, is he ready for this and stuff like that, and how he kind of plays around as long as everything's going good and everything's being accommodated towards him. But she kind of made a good point, like, I'm always trying to do things for him, and he doesn't even seem like he's that serious into the process. Like he's always saying like, because she's like, I'm in it forever. And he doesn't seem to quite be taking it from that approach. So I think, you know, Mitch is like an enigma wrapped up in a conundrum. I don't know. I mean, because at first he kind of seemed like someone who's so rigid and inflexible, but but now we're starting to see that the more that when she gathers his ass together, that he tends to tighten up a little bit more. And if you guys saw the after party, the way he admits, I mean, Mitch does have, I mean, he can be so immature at times, like what happened with the shirt. But then when you heard him on the after party, the way he was discussing, like, oh yeah, the way I blew up, oh yeah, I need to, I need to stop doing that. Like he says it, and he speaks about his transgressions in a way that seems like he's completely realizing after the fact, like how like what an idiot he acted like, and how he is, looking forward to making improvements in that behavior. So there does seem to be some kind of growth. Now, we have to see if there are actions behind that or not. But it seems like Mitch is kind of coming around. I mean, they might really be able to work. I mean, if he can be a little less rigid, because she's so accommodating and so flexible, she's just so willing to do anything to make it work, except lose herself, which I'm glad she's, kind of, put her foot down about that. I'm not going to lose myself in this relationship. So maybe there is hope for Mitch and Kristen, even though they're still in rocky waters and things like that. So maybe we'll see. We'll see. But I have a little bit more hope for them. Okay, now, so listen, this is so, this is a very little what do you call it, like a duct tape and pins and needles type production here. I got all my notes on my on my mail. Forgive me. But anyway, so who do we have next? Lindsay and Miguel. All right, Lindsay, I wanted to reserve my complete judgment because she seemed like she's a little kind of not unstable, but I don't know, something like not on a very solid ground. The way her moods tend to fluctuate and how she responds to situations. Like she'll go to maybe not 10, but she's like already at like a 7 or 8 when maybe Miguel is like at a 3. So that was definitely concerning. But after this episode, yeah, the jury's in. Like she's a little batshit. I'm sorry. I mean, when she said to him, or when she was sitting in front of the group, usually I just like say whatever in relationships, and he's just not going to let me say whatever. And I really have to just learn how to. And I'm glad she's reflecting upon that. But I don't. I don't know. I'm not saying that okay, you can do the work, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily ever going to be 100% be able to kind of manage your emotions. And if that is the case, I mean, who knows? Maybe with therapies, medication, something like that, that can definitely alter, anxiety levels and things of that nature. But it seems to me that it's more of like, okay, this is my personality, this is just how I am, and I'll just try to rein it in a little bit. And Miguel doesn't, we already know Miguel is not, I mean, he's not claiming track star status the way Alexis does, but it seems like he's pretty much like, I'm not for the bull, basically. So you can't keep doing the same thing and then be like, oh, you're supposed to accept me and take, and just kind of take the BS because I'm your wife and we made a commitment to each other. There's a certain level of it. You know what I mean? It has to be within reason, even when you're different personalities. But she's so high level anxiety. Remember the whole suitcase situation during the honeymoon? I don't know. I'm not really seeing it for them. And maybe she is, but if she is not, I think she needs to be getting some kind of professional help. And I mean that with all sincerity. I mean, it seems to be she just can't kind of control the way that she gets. And and that's something that, who knows, maybe Miguel would be able to work with her with, as long as he's seeing that she's able to kind of stabilize and not really just pop off over little stuff. And this doesn't have to do with the friends' feedback from the previous week or anything. This is just watching her. But when she really said, like, I just usually say whatever in a relationship. And it makes sense when Dr. Cal was first visiting her home before he told her he had a match for her. And she just kept saying, because I'm just so much, I'm just so much, I'm so much. And I think because she already knows that, it's probably like, okay, maybe a process like this would help out. I mean, these people are on this show for a reason. Number one, it is harder to find people nowadays that are marriage minded, want to have kids and all that stuff, like a lot of these people want to do. But also, in addition, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know with Lindsay. I think she needs some help. I really do. I just think she needs some help if she's not already getting it. And if she is getting it, maybe we need to make an adjustment in the medication, honey, because that is a little bit too much, right? Because we already know Miguel is not going to stick around for that. So, all right, let's go on to Nate and Stasha. So Nate and Stasha seem to have come to a different level. Last week they were fighting. He was like, you want to see you want to see some emotion? Here's my emotion. I'm sick of you trying to get me to tell you I love you. So now, I thought, because of her saying that, she, after some self-reflection, she realizes, and she mentioned it when she was talking with her mother as well, that she has been unable to really just kind of give him his time and let him kind of go into this on his own time frame, basically. But she said that she said that, she knows that she's pushing him too far and stuff. But it's like, okay, well, if you know that, then now it's time to act on that, right? But I guess it's difficult for her because she feels in her mind, she's very stern, she's rigid, she's got this plan. It needs to be X, Y, and Z. And you need to just, input this person into the relationship and then, go from there. And she realizes that that is a very difficult thing to do. So, I'm thinking because she's saying all this, that she has realized that she has, aired, and she needs to slow down. She got to pump the brakes on that. That's too much. So, when they pan over to her and Nate, it seems like, she's still asking him the same thing. Oh, because he says to her, you know what? I feel like I'm falling in love with you. And I thought, okay, well, is that true, or does he feel like, what, did he call up one of his buddies and be like, you know what, listen, did his friends tell me, don't mess up the bag, listen, you got a new house you can move into, you got a perfect, beautiful, intelligent, ambitious, da da da, she ticks all the boxes, right? So don't mess this up. I wonder if it was some kind of feedback that he got from one of his friends, because he went from, I don't want to talk about anything, to I'm starting to fall in love with you. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. I think he likes the idea of Stasha, but listen, I'm still on that train of, hey, I watched him at that bachelor party and I didn't like that behavior. That told me a lot about him. Now it could be like he's just trying to be like, try to show off or something like that, but I don't know. Oh, by the way, listen, hey guys, I'm not going to make this video too long. And last week when I tried to do my video, oh my God, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, it got cut off 2 times in the middle of my live. So I'm going to try to keep it short. In case the video does accidentally drop, please let me know. Hey, 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 Motown Investor, how are you? Thanks for joining. So, in case it does drop off, please go back to my channel and just give it like 3 minutes or whatever. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this is not going to happen again. I got all the new router stuff and everything like that, to fix the issue, but I don't know. I'm not that tech savvy, guys. Okay, as you guys can see, my videos are very organic. You can hear my kid in the background. All right. So anyway, yeah. So then when he says that he's starting to fall in love with her, she's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. She seems so happy, right? But then she follows up with, okay, so where are we on the number scale? Here we go again with this. Stasha, did you not learn your lesson? Okay, first of all, I do not believe that, okay, maybe there's some exceptions, but I just don't believe generally that people fall in love after 1 month. Now I know the passion can be high and everything is going well. It can feel like that, but I feel like typically it doesn't happen that fast. Okay, so anyway, so then they decide to, so then he tells her now he's like up to like a 8 or something. So now he's up to where she's at. That's a big jump to go from a 4 to a 8. Like, I don't know, what's it been a span of a week and a half on, TV time. I don't know. So then they go to get tattoos together. Looks like, was it like some Roman numerals? Is that what it was? I couldn't really see it that well. Was that like the wedding date or something? And, Stasha is really all in. And Nate is trying to show her that he's really all in too. I think that, if she keeps up with this and he feels like he's showing her, then he's going to really I think he's going to cut out. So hopefully, but he's got to show her in other ways, not just like, with therapy, I think that is significant. But I think in other ways, he's going to have to show her with his ambition and stuff like that. So, we'll see. I'm still, the jury is still out on Nate. I'm just not, I don't know. Something about him I don't really trust. And I want to, because when I first saw Nate, I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. And just listening to his story with how his dad raised him and stuff like that. I grew up with a lot of military family. My family was military as well. I grew up with a lot of other military kids. And hey, oh my God, Burgundy, how are you, girl? Thank you. Like my glasses. I got these off of eBay, girl. I had to find one of these little family-owned places because lens crafters would not put a lens in a 1950s frame. But thank you. That's my girl, Burgundy Blue Guy. She does Seeking Sister Wives, and it's she is really really good on her videos. So thank you so much for tuning in, girl. I'm glad you. So don't watch me, just listen to me in the car. I don't want you to get too. She says she's driving in the car right now. So and I'm going and later on today I'm going to be doing a Seeking Sister Wives finale video as well. I just didn't do it yesterday. So all right, let me get going before this freaking video shuts off on me. All right, so yeah, so that's Nate and Stasha. They seem to be in a better place as of right now, but I'm still not 100% buying everything. Okay, so now let's go over to Alexis and Justin. Okay, or should I say Messy and Messier. All right. Now, with Alexis, I was trying to give her a chance because I remember she seemed to be a little bit performative and a little bit like she was kind of doing it up for the cameras at certain points. But, then I would see a lot of, empathy and a lot of kindness and stuff like that that she would display towards Justin. I was not happy with the whole doggy situation. I felt like they were both at fault. But maybe him a little. Well, no, they were both at fault. I'm not giving it percentages. He was half wrong and she was half wrong too. So here's the thing. What I don't like about Justin and Alexis, I wanted to say Ben and Morgan for last, but I'm gonna have to kind of interweave them because they are part of that story. So what I'm not liking is that during the early dinners, I don't know, was that episode 4, something like that, where Morgan was basically at the dinner table saying, it was nighttime. It was like one of those outside night dinners. And she was saying how, when she comes home, she doesn't want to talk to anybody. She's done with her shift and she's tired and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, but, she's making it seem she's tired, but she will not make any room in her life for a new spouse. And I was sitting there scratching my head like, what? Right? Everybody was like, well, what do or what's Ben for? And Alexis said what a lot of us were thinking. Well, what do you have the husband for if you're not looking to have a partner to come home to? And as we can see, Ben knows how to get down. He calls himself the Korean barbecue poppy. Ben's got a little swag, right? I mean, obviously Ben grew up around people of color, right? So he's kind of, a lot of people like to be around Ben, or sorry, Ben likes to be around people that have like a little bit of flavor, or whatever. Some of his little jokes, are kind of cute, whatever. So anyway, you got Korean barbecue poppy at home making a nice meal for you when you come home from a long shift and stuff like that. I mean, Ben has some issues, but I mean, he's still doing he's still trying, right? So, I felt like when she was saying that at that dinner and Alexis is whispering to Justin in front of, but whispering at a tone that, if you were sitting on the left or the right side of either one of them, you probably would have been able to hear that. Well, what she need him for, kind of thing. And then remember how Justin started talking smack about Ben and Morgan, like or it was more about Morgan, I would say, like right in front of everybody at the table, instead of like addressing her, like, hey, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z, or why do you do X, Y, and Z, but kind of being shady, right? So I never forgot that moment. So it surprised me that all of a sudden, Morgan and Alexis are best friends. Like, what the hell is going on? What did I miss? I mean, I knew Alexis didn't like Lindy, but I didn't know that, she was like all of a sudden so cool with Morgan. But, okay, fine. For the sake of argument, we'll just say that didn't mean that she didn't like her, but it was merely she had a strong disagreement with how she was going to approach this new marriage, and which doesn't mean that they won't be friends, but it just didn't seem like they were BFF, but all of a sudden they are. So Alexis and Justin were a united front against Morgan in front of everybody, but now all of a sudden they're best friends. Sounds a little weird to me. And another thing that I noticed about Justin and Alexis was at that dinner, the big bomb dinner at the end of the episode, where Justin can't, he wants her to make a comment about the situation, about how they're doing, their status and everything. But wait, hold on, before I get to that, okay, was she not wearing the only 1980s what was the name of that show? Solid Gold. Okay, listen, you guys got to be of a certain age if you remember Solid Gold. That magenta / fuchsia cat suit with the built-in gloves. I was like, what the fuck is she wearing? Like, oh my God, this is like, you're not, is this like, this isn't an after dark episode. I don't know. It was just like so weird to me what the hell she was wearing. But anyway, so, Justin is upset because everybody's going around the table. They're talking about their, where they're at in their relationships. And, all of a sudden, Mitch is, so, it's Mitch and Kristen's turn. And now Justin is chiming in. Oh, yeah, I've seen so much growth from Mitch, so much. And it's like, you have? Okay. And from his perspective, like, how would you even see that? The cameras, we see that Mitch has made, he has had some growth, but how would you know that? Are they close? I don't really see them talking like that. I don't know. But anyway, now Alexis is all upset because she's like, how the hell are you going to make a comment about, his growth, and then you don't want to talk about like yourself? I don't know what she wanted him to say at that moment. Yes, Mitch, you're having growth, but we're not, or something like that. I don't know. But she just didn't want to talk about it at the time, but it was a very passive aggressive moment because her facial expression was like, I said, I don't want to talk about it. But, you could tell obviously something was wrong. There was a disconnect there. And he wanted to feel like, she was still in it and still participating. He didn't want to feel like the one couple that's so, doing so bad and such dire straits that they're like, on the way to like, not making it or something. So he was upset. And also, too, I wanted to also mention that Ben and Morgan were not at this dinner because of everything that happened. So, which I'm about to get to momentarily. So, anyway, oh yeah, okay. So, I don't want to lose my place. Oh yeah. So then next thing you know, he keeps asking her to give more feedback, and she's getting upset. Eventually, she starts breaking down and crying, and then she leaves the table. And she's like, babe, this babe and that babe. They're always calling each other babe. It's too much for me. I just feel like that they are so freaking messy. They're so messy. I don't get it. She's checked out, and now that since she got checked out, it seems like he got checked out. Because did you see during that conversation that they had where he's saying like we're halfway through the process or whatever, and now that we're at this point, we're gonna only be able to or maybe we're not gonna be able to make it, like alluding to something like that. And then she's like, no, I mean, it doesn't mean that we're not gonna make it, and she's like trying to put a positive spin on it in that moment. But from what we've seen from her, she seems like she's not really working on it, and it seems like which it could be fair if you're just emotionally not in it anymore, and too much, what you feel like too much harm has happened too early in the relationship, then maybe checked out might be, this is an experiment, you just may not make it. The point is to try to push through and to make it no matter what, but you just might not make it. So I felt like she was explaining, the way she was explaining, it kind of seems like, on one hand, I was like, okay, well, at least she's not being doom and gloom about it. But on the other hand, it's like, you haven't been what your words right now are not matching your actions. So he seemed deflated. And we've seen him be a little, not confrontative, but like more like defending himself to the point where he's kind of going a little bit too much with it. And she feels like she's got to manage his emotions every 5 minutes, and it's too much for her to handle. So, but in that moment, he just looked deflated to me. He didn't have that same spark, that same vivacious kind of attitude towards their marriage any longer. And, now we get to Ben and Morgan. Okay, so I mean, the whole episode, they're trying to celebrate this 1 month anniversary, and or is it 1 month? Yeah, it will be 1 month because last week they were doing like day 21 and day 20. So yeah, this would be their 1 month anniversary, and so Ben already knew that she was already mad at him because they showed the footage in the camera in the kitchen where she's saying, you betrayed me again. I just talked to Alexis and she told me everything that you said to Justin, and you're not supposed to be talking to Justin. I told you not to talk to Justin. And then he comes to her, even after all of that, he brings her flowers and tries to say, hey, listen, I'm sorry for what happened, or he feels bad about it. No, he didn't say I'm sorry, but he brought flowers, as as a peace offering. She takes those flowers, throws them down on the ground, okay, And she's like, you lied to me. You're lying in my face. And he was like, I didn't talk about you to Justin. I didn't talk. Now, he was lying. Okay. You could tell he was lying, right? But here's the thing. I do not condone lying in a marriage. However, these people are still getting to know each other. So it was just, I saw between Ben and Justin these moments where they felt kind of backed in a corner, so they get to hemming and hawing and you know what I mean, like, because they're befuddled, they don't know what to say because they want to get out of the situation, they just want things to calm down. So it's not right to lie in that situation, but you understand because they look like little boys that were being chastised by their mothers, right? And I mean, I swear to God, okay, I was really thinking this whole Ben and his mother was going to be such a situation. Ben and his cheapness, such a situation. But we have not even gotten there. So I wasn't thinking like, oh, Ben is like this perfect guy. He's got this nice body, nice smile. He looks good. Ben even looks like he smells good, right? And I'm thinking, okay, he's got, in spite of all that, the outer stuff, he seems like he's definitely got some of his own issues, but everybody brings in baggage to a marriage. Everybody, I did into mine. Everybody does, right? So, the way that she was like, what you said, you were talking to him, and then come to find out later on that Alexis and Justin, well, I should say Justin, had Ben's confidential conversation on speakerphone in front of Alexis. Okay, so Alexis getting all the tea, and then she's running back to Morgan. Now listen, I'm not saying this is 100% straight case here, okay? But if I'm going to be the judge and jury, okay, she did already say, we've already had a situation with Justin. I don't want you going to Justin with our problems. Now, she said later on, she clarified that it's not that she doesn't want him to talk to people. She doesn't want him to talk to people within that circle. But where the hell do you think you are? This is Married at First Sight. You guys are an experimental group. You're not just couples. It's not like they have one in San Francisco and one is in Chicago. You all are literally staying, if it's like it was last season, in the same apartment complex. So of course you're going to sound off with one another. And maybe you have conversations with your spouse about what are the limitations of things that you're willing to and to talk about, and things that are completely should be private. But the whole thing started off because she told a lie. It was a white lie. It was a small lie, but it spiraled off into Ben thinking something that wasn't even true, thinking she's not a nurse and so on and so forth, right? And now she's like, all these things that you said, and then she wouldn't say what she's accusing Ben of saying to Justin. And Justin saying, no, the only thing I said is that, maybe there's some resentment because you think that my family is perfect or whatever. Now, whatever he said, and I do believe Ben talks some shit. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, come on. But look at the way she's been treating him. It has been absolutely terrible. Even if she hadn't lied, let's say the whole license issue was not a thing, and maybe let's just say they just had some regular fight about some regular thing, and then he went back to Justin and told him. I mean, what is the big damn deal? Nobody said nothing to you when you were talking to your friends. Remember, Morgan? You were talking to your friends about your issues with him. So why can't he confide in someone? And he's obviously has issues with people pleasing. You have to be sensitive. You have to be kind and caring and warm. And if you can't be, then you are not made for this goddamn process. What is the matter with her? Listen, you all know me. I have no problem telling anybody that I'm a feminist. I'll sew a patch on my shirt that says I'm a feminist. I'm usually much more for the women. I'm on their side most of the time, and I look at things from a woman's perspective because I'm a woman. But I'm also married. I understand that it takes two people in a marriage. And it doesn't matter if your marriage is gay, straight, whatever. It's still two people, right? So, except over on Seeking Sister Wife, that tragedy. Anyway, so I'm not talking about that dumpster fire, but I just feel like Oh my God, I could not believe. Oh my God, it was. She was like, you know what? I just don't know. I just don't know. For the next, what she say, 4 weeks, I'm just gonna. This is gonna be it, and you're gonna have to like, just deal with me. And I forget the exact words she said, but basically she's saying, I'm going to make you pay. You are going to be punished for this. Now, on Ben's side, where Ben was wrong, was that he should not have confided. It's not that he shouldn't confide in someone, but he should not have confided in loose lip, wet eye, can't stop talking Justin's messy ass, who was sitting up there. He'll pretend he's your best. So if Justin's such your best friend, why the hell did he put you on a goddamn speakerphone conversation knowing that his wife talks to your wife and you guys are in a bad place right now? Who does that? Who does that? This is absolutely insane. I cannot believe her reaction. So not only did she start, this whole shit snowballed from her basically saying that she had a BSN when she had an ASN, and then not taking any accountability for the fact that she lied, and that's how the trouble got started in the first place. Okay, and then she made the guy completely, she punished him. Listen, honey, if you're just tuning in, we are on a dragathon for Miss Morgan today. I'm sorry. It's like she has no heart. She's so cold. When he was pouring his heart out, telling her, hey, I was so wrong when I judged your family. Now, listen, I've heard apologies on this show before, but the way that he apologized, I really felt like he meant that. And hey, you know what? If he didn't, we'll find out later. But in that moment, he said, I had these own issues with my father. I grew up in an Asian family. My family were refugees. They expected high performance, high achievement. I'm not a doctor. Like things that he would expect her to understand because she's part Asian as well, right? Like these are things that you try to bond, like certain cultural things and stuff like that. And all she did when he said that, she's like, okay, good. I'm glad you're talking about that. Not a rub on the shoulder, not a pat on the back. And the way that he's describing his family dynamic, I'm sure that Ben did not grow up around people that cried a lot. I'm sure that he doesn't eat, that he holds stuff in instead of getting that good cry out. I mean, he could take a few tips from Justin. I mean, you get one good cry, you know what I mean? But not in Justin's like every 5 minutes with the tears, right? So I just thought like, okay, I was saying last week, if you guys caught my video last week, about how she was talking about her samurai lineage. It was a little bit braggadocious in the way that she was describing it. The way that she was holding the weight over her when she had when she was lifting weights, the way she just kind of held that weight like that for a long time when he was talking to her, instead of like, I mean, nobody just holds weights over their neck like that. She's showing you, she's trying to show that strength. The kickboxing every 5 minutes and bragging about kicking the woman's tooth out, her friend's tooth out. It's like, I believe in women being strong, and I believe in that we should not silence women or dim their light when they are a strong woman. But don't use your strength, don't weaponize your strength. I thought that was absolutely ugly. It was terrible. I felt so bad for him. The way he was sitting there and he was like, but so of course now he's stuttering and trying to like what do you call it, like backpedaling about what he said to Justin. He was lying to her face, but he feels like she's a dragon in front. Well, I shouldn't say dragon, but like, she's being like a very, like a mean woman, like right in front of him. Like have some empathy, show some kindness. Even if you're upset, you always have to try to look at things from both sides and say, okay, well, you know what, man, all right, yeah, I talked to my friend. What is he supposed to do? Is he not supposed to express himself? Is he supposed to keep everything bottled up? It was so unfair and so disgusting and so ugly. I was so disappointed in her. I'm telling you, I don't think I can come back with that from her. Now, on the after show, who was it? Alexis was saying that, because Keisha was trying to pull it out of her. So what was it that Morgan said, or no, what was it that Ben said when you guys had him on speakerphone, basically, that was so disparaging towards his wife? And she's like, well, I'm not gonna say, but it's just, that's not the Morgan that I know. So I'm thinking, He probably went in hard. I think he did. I think he did. But he was so stupid to think that he could trust Justin. Justin betrayed your trust the first time that you confided in him. The women, they get together and that's what they do. They talk. The men get together, they talk. You know, you have to commiserate with other people that are going through the same thing. This is I mean, at the end of the day, yes, the marriages are individual, not group marriages, but you're in a group situation and they're learning from each other, right? Look at people are actually learning from Kristen and Mitch because they're like, oh wow, this really, something changed here, right? So that's what you do when you talk to other people. It's therapeutic. Someone who is a nurse should know. Now, I'm wondering if it was like, because she seems so upset. I wonder, because Ben, to me, looks like a very clean man. And I wonder if he was saying something about maybe her habits or something like that. Because we all remember I had, well, if you guys saw my other video that I did about Morgan coming into the house when he's got this beautiful Korean spread set out for her. And she went from the door to the kitchen table with them dirty ass scrubs on. Let me tell you something, okay? I'm not at the moment, but I was a frontline worker, a nurse in the pandemic, honey. We were bubble taping ourselves. I mean, clothes with some. We would talk about it. What do you guys do with your? I swear to God, nurses we would gather at the station, and sometimes, it would come up about our clothing and what we would do. And every time someone would mention it, they would say, "Oh yeah, when I get home, oh, first thing I do is shower," or "Oh, first thing I do when I get home is I take my clothes off in my garage." Because I mean, diseases can be passed through clothing. Look at smallpox and the blankets. If you guys are unfamiliar with Native American history, that's what That's what the American government did to Native people. People got smallpox through blankets. You can get things through clothing. So So I say all that to say, not that he would necessarily know all that, but maybe there's some that just said to me that really was a red flag. Like maybe there's some kind of like difference in levels of cleanliness, and that's going to be in every couple, but Ben seems very clean to me. So I'm just wondering, I don't know if that's an issue, but that was definitely absolutely disgusting, a no. It is some hospitals, even in California where I was living, they would offer the nurses like hospital scrubs, like a uniform. So you would come in with your street clothes, you change into the hospital scrubs, and then when your shift is over, you take those hospital scrubs, you put them in the hospital dirty hamper, put your street clothes back on, so you're not going back and forth with those clothes. I was absolutely floored when I saw that. So it made me think, okay, something's not right here. So I'm seeing coldness, I'm seeing too much aggression, I'm seeing absolute rudeness, disregard for feelings, no physical affection. I mean, she can talk to her friends, he can't talk to her friends. He's supposed to just hold it in. That's how people do things that can be very that can become violent, that can do all when people have things that are held in. She's a nurse. Your education, you learn about all of these things, how holistic health, including mental health, all these things. How could someone like her, so educated, be so just so, I don't know, obtuse or something? I don't know what is the right word to describe it. But I was so disappointed in her. I mean, I didn't want to write her off in the beginning because I was so personally, as a person of color, I am so happy to see when they have like, kind of multi-ethnic, what do you call it? Like a cast members and stuff like that. P.S. by the way, Married at First Sight, if you're listening, you're watching my tiny little channel over here, please get some more interracial couples. I just, I think this match thing is, but anyway, so like so go back to saying, I was so happy, okay, good, we got another, and she's also mixed race. So I thought this was cool, right? I was like, all right, let's see her story. I want to learn more about her. But she really did turn me off in the beginning, and I tried not to completely write it off. Alexis had a few things here and there, but I wasn't writing anybody off. But now that's it. I'm done. I don't know if there's anything that can be redeemable. I am so upset with this girl right now. You would think I was married to Morgan. I'm acting. It was just horrendous. But anyway, listen, guys. I hope I covered everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's meet back next week and talk about it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, please subscribe, and we'll be here next week to talk more garbage. Hopefully, I don't have to drag anybody too hard, but oh, Morgan, I'm sorry, girl, you deserved it this week. I'm gonna have to work on my forgiveness with you, girl, because I got so upset. So, anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Take care of yourselves. I will be posting in a couple of hours. Be on the lookout for the final season, or sorry, the final episode of Seeking Sister Wives. And that's it. Take care, stay safe, and chipita lacho.